Hallo en welkom allemaal, ek is Jade September.
En ek is Nikita Arendse.
En jy is ingeskakel met die Plain Talks op Cape Town TV. Today in studio I have a lucky man of the name of Leston
Sylvester.
Ooh, so he is a director of a brand agency.
So welcome, Leston. It's lovely to have you today on the show.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
So can you please tell us a bit about yourself, like what your who's your family, like things like that?
So first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's great to be here. And yeah, so I own a brand agency, and basically we create creative concepts to get various brands to their specific markets. So I'm really passionate about marketing, advertising, and public relations. I'm a father of 4. My wife and I have a blended family, Saina Maina in Osana. And yeah, I love cooking. I love taking long road trips, write a bit of music, sing a little bit. Don't ask me today. Yeah, and I'm a family guy. I spend most of my time with my kids and cook for them, see to their needs. Just yeah, I'm a family guy basically.
So, like when you were in like high school and things, you know, we always think like, oh, I want to be a doctor and stuff like that. Did you always see yourself in this career?
Not at all. You know, I actually thought that I would become a full-time volleyball player, believe it or not. And I know it looks like I swallowed a volleyball, but I was quite slim and really fit back in the day. And I represented Western Province on various levels and also South Africa on various levels.
Wow.
Actually, at my school, I made history at the school. I was the first student to represent South Africa at Crestway High School. So I had no idea of what it is exactly I wanted to be, but I loved volleyball. Yeah.
So why didn't you go like into, you know, people take the sport that they're doing into like a career. Why didn't you do that?
You know, unfortunately, volleyball in South Africa is not a Bafana Bafana or the Proteas or the Bokke. So volleyball wasn't a sport that was really recognized in South Africa. And so I just played on various levels. And once I got married, everything changed for the good. Just in case my wife is watching.
You know the ladies.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you say.
So how's like life, like marriage life and things like that?
Marriage life is good. It's hard work. It's a conscious working at it, because you have two people coming together with different backgrounds, different likes, different needs. And as you know, when they marry you, you'll experience this one day. The two becomes one, and so yeah. So it's a constant, I guess, coming together on decisions. So marriage is hard work. Let's leave it at that. Yeah.
So you said like you love singing and cooking and things. Why singing? Why cooking? Why taking road trips? Wasn't there like anything else besides volleyball?
What's the fun in it?
So downtime for me, after the kids have gone to bed or the kids are at school, cooking is the thing that really just kind of relaxes me. Kind of just, I can exhale, I can breathe.
Keeps you going.
Yeah, so I'll pour a glass of wine and I'll put out all my ingredients on the counter and I'll just start cooking. And it really just relaxes me. And the same road trip does this exactly the same thing, excluding the wine obviously.
Yes.
Taking long trips with the family, packing up the boot, and just heading out to a resort or to a hotel, not to campsites. I hate camping.
How come? Like,
I think
so fun and adventurous.
I think I've had bad experiences with camping. So yeah, so road trips are really fun. Singing, on the other hand, I dabble a bit in some singing, and I think I'm a little bit better than a shower singer.
Oh, excuse me.
So yeah, so all of these things that really just kind of gives me joy,
Yes.
and that I'm passionate about.
So you're speaking a lot about family and your children and things. What is like to you? How important is it like to have family time?
I think it's unquestionable. We have to make time for our kids. We have to make time for our spouses.
Yes.
In today's life, things are just so hectic. Kids go to school, you go to work, you come home, and then it seems like that kind of cycle just continues.
Yes.
Work, school, and whatever else you do. And I think it's important just to take a break, stop.
Yes.
Let's spend time together in whichever way that is. And I mean, some parents take their kids to the mall. Some, I'm sure you like that more.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
Especially shopping.
Of course.
I love my clothes.
You would be ladies if you like shopping. Or they go to the soccer game on a Saturday morning. Or they just spend time reading books to their kids. Or they engage their kids like my 9-year-old Judah. He enjoys cooking. He could sit in front of a TV show and just watch the cooking channel whole day.
Like his father.
I'll kind of get more into the cooking.
Yes.
And so I often get him involved to set the table or to cut this and prepare that. So different families have different ways of spending time together.
Yes.
But coming back to your question, it is vital that parents make time for their families.
Okay. So if parents should always make time for the family, how do you make time for your family if there's no father figure or if there's no mother figure? What do you do?
I think the thing is, lack of a better word, is to just do it. Make the time. You know, like I said, people's lives are so hectic. There are families on different levels. There's certain households where mom is at home, dad is working. Other households where mom and dad is working. Other more affluent families have the luxury of having a nanny, having an au pair, and they fetch at school and they get their homework done with them. And so different, we say like elke, you see, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't know what that means. You're still young.
Back in the time.
Yeah. It basically means that every household has its issues, and every household deals with the different challenges in a different way. And so every a house might have a dad, a house might have a mom, a house might have a mom and a dad. I almost asked you, do you have a mom and a dad? Both of you have moms and dads?
Yes.
Okay, great. You're the more fortunate ones. We have the households that grow up just with a dad, or we have a household that grows up just with a mom. You know, and it is within that household that they decide this is how we're going to deal with just having mom or just having dad.
Okay. That's amazing, eh?
It is.
But look here, man, Jared, I think we need a break now.
I need a biscuit.
Come on, man. Guys, just stay tuned. Ons is nou terug.
Don't touch it remote. And you're still tuning in the Plain Talks with me, Jade September.
And me, Nikita Orange.
On Cape Town TV. Today in studio we still have Leston Sylvester, the founder and director of
A branding company.
Yes, darling. So, Leston, can you please tell me how important is it to have a father figure in your household today?
I think it's extremely important, Nikita and Jade. You guys, do you have your father at home?
Yes.
No, like
No.
my mom and daddy are divorced.
Okay, so I promise you that in a couple of years' time, you guys will find out how that will affect your life. It has been said that fathers give sons and daughters the affirmation that they need to become who they really are. So for myself, I had my first son when I was 17 years old. I was still in high school, in the prime of my volleyball days. I studied after high school, but it had a serious effect on me because I was a child myself. I had no idea of nappies and milk and clinics. You know, it was a real challenge. And so, growing up, I then discovered much later in my life how this affected me and why this affected me, because I grew up without a dad. My parents were separated when I was, I think, a couple of months old, and so I had the issues of weekends here, weekends there. Then dad rocks up, then he doesn't rock up. You know, promises made, never kept, and so, you know, I could easily blame my dad for not giving me, let's say, sex education, teaching me about condoms and birth control. But it was just one of those challenges. And going through life, same to my son. And unfortunately, I did exactly that. I ended up splitting up with his mom. We were engaged to be married, and I was that guy out there, girls, and we broke up eventually. And you know, looking into my father's life and just questions that I was asking my mom and some of my family members, I found out that my dad did exactly the same with my mom and my sister and my siblings. He had left her, and our household became a fatherless household. The same with my eldest son. The ideal scenario obviously would have been I would marry his mom, but that didn't happen. There's this thing called generational curses. Do you know about?
Yes, I think my granny spoke about it.
And what did your granny say?
Like once this happens, like say if like I get married and then my child, and then we get divorced, and then my child will also get divorced, and then like that, something like that.
Yeah.
Is it
So it's
something
in a
like that?
pattern.
Yeah, like it like runs in the family. You always say, oh, just need you here, or just needs your pa, or
In
just
the
needs your
genes.
ma, yeah, in the genes type of thing, you know. And so I found that out in my life, that there was like almost daily, up to today, I still have this thing that I battle this generational curse. My father was like this. I can't be like my father was, and unfortunately, like I mentioned, my dad had left my mom and then got remarried, and I guess I did the same. I didn't marry my son's mom, and I got married. So I'm married for 11 years now, and when I started, I said we have a blended family. My wife has a son, I have a son, and we have two together, a boy and a girl. So now I have the opportunity to be not a fatherless, not raise a fatherless generation, but to be there for my kids. Yeah, so I guess it's very important to have a father figure in the house.
You said that your father was also like maybe absent or something like that. How did this make you feel? Like, how did you feel when you knew that you didn't have like that father to go to when you were in trouble or something like that?
Yeah, you know what, growing up as a child, you don't realize that these are the things that you need. You see it happening all over in your communities, in your society. So growing up, you think that this is norm. This is, you know, it's the thing that's done. There are many other households, friends that I know of that never grew up with their dad. You know, so how did that make me feel? Growing up, it never had that effect, like a bad effect on me, or so I thought, until I was actually much older.
Yes.
And should I say, when I got married, I then realized that there were certain things that I didn't know how to do. There were certain things that I would have liked to have known, and certain things that I would have liked to have spoken to somebody about. You know, so how do I do this gardening thing? How do I like clean the pool? You know,
Yes.
how do I? There's this child acting up. He has or she has this issue. How do I deal with that? You know, and often I've made that excuse.
Yes.
I can't do this because I never had a dad.
Yes.
You know, I never saw. Sorry, I got emotional raising my voice.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's just, I mean, living in that space, you constantly find that that is something that you say.
Yes.
I can't do this thing because I never had a dad to show me how to do this. So now I'm married for 11 years and it's been a real challenge, even within the marriage, because of my husband, my wife, and I both come from broken homes. And so I can only speak for myself, that there are things that should have been done but wasn't done because I didn't know how to, or I thought I didn't know how to. I never saw a father or a mother that kind of role modeled in front of me. So this is how you treat your wife, this is how you treat your kids. Everything that I know now, like every day, learning, failing, learning, failing, learning.
Wow. That's
Was the bit deep?
but
I got
very
it
deep.
like,
You, I think it's so deep. I think we should go in for a break because the person needs some tissues in this place.
I need it.
Guys, stay tuned. Ons nou terug. It's not going to be that emotional after this, man. Just hold on.
Still tuned into the Playing Talks on Cape Town TV. I'm Jade September.
And I'm Nikita Audenser.
And today in studio we have Leston Sylvester, the founder and director
Of a branding agency.
I'm telling you, peeps. So, Leston, can you tell me what made you come back to your son after you abandoned him? Why? And how did your son feel that you were finally there again?
Sure, abandonment is just a strong word.
Oh, sorry! I must stop being deep. I think it was that session we had
Is it?
before this.
No, look, I didn't abandon him. I think I just wasn't so active in his life. So coming back was a conscious decision to better my life and his life and to build on that relationship that we didn't have. And building on that relationship, I failed. I went back again after abandoning him. And then and I went back again. And so constantly trying every time, different ways, different angles, different opportunities, just trying to get back into his life. I remember I said to you earlier that I didn't know how to do this thing. And so often when you don't know how to do something, you've got to perfect it by doing it, by trying, perfect it, try, do it, and try and perfect it all the time. And I think that is the definition of success.
Yes.
You know, often people say, oh, that's a successful person, or that's a successful woman or man. But we have different levels of success. In that scenario, in the context of this conversation, going back and trying again was successful.
Yes.
And so success is not only the smart car you drive or because you live in a lavish house. I think success is different for you, and for you, maybe success for you would be to finish grade 11 or to get a good job one day, or to move out of the beautiful Mitchell's Plain. You know, so success for me at that point in time was failing, getting up again, and trying again.
Yes.
Failing, getting up again, and trying again.
So you thought there was always room for improvement? Like, I know a man that told me, Andrew Bennett, he used to like saying like there's always room for improvement. So do you agree with that?
Yes, I think in life there's always room for improvement. You don't reach a point where you are just op it,
Yes.
you just eat. There's always room for improvement.
Yes.
So how did your son feel about this?
I would hope that he was that he was happy about it, and it's again up to today. It's a conscious decision to improve on the relationship, and we have so many platforms now that we can communicate with.
Yes.
I mean, he was overseas for a good couple of months, and we were able to communicate via WhatsApp, WhatsApp call, Skype, whatever. He's back home now, and so we still use those platforms. So just trying to communicate all the time. And make room for improvement.
Make room for improvement,
Yeah.
definitely. So, for your final words, like what would you like to tell our viewers that is watching today?
We're talking specifically about a household without the dad. I think largely the issues that we face in society, not only in Mitchell's Plain, in Constantia, in Claremont, in Tukai, all over the world. I believe one of the roots of it is the fact that fathers have not taken their stand. There's a song by Eminem, "Can the Real Man Stand Up?"
Oh,
Ooh.
yes, I know it.
So I want to put out a challenge to all your listeners, specifically the men and the sons, all the boys that are listening to or watching your show right now. I'd really like to put out this challenge. I'm reminded about a story in the Bible by a guy. His name is Moses. Can you live Moses?
Yes.
Yeah. Moses was an Apache and a bit of So Moses rocks up at this place. To cut a long story short, he's in this kind of town, in this, let's say, nation, and God says to him, "Moses, you will be the one that will deliver these people out of what they are facing right now." And Moses is like, "Really? Me? I have all these issues." Moses even killed somebody. And at that point, Moses was also stuttering. So he's like, "Me, man, I've got all these issues. I come from this place, and I've done so many bad things, and now I even stutter as well. So how do you expect me to deliver these people out of this nation?" And basically, he's told, "Look, don't look at your stuff. Don't look at the issues that you faced. I'm gonna give you a helper, man. And this guy's name is Aaron." And so, cut a long story short, Aaron helps him, and together they free this nation. How does this relate to us in, let's say, Mitchell's Plain, or wherever we are faced right now? First of all, I think the story is twofold. First of all, the guy, Moses, could or can represent fathers right now. Sometimes being a father, not all the time actually, it's really overwhelming because you have this expectation society has on you to do certain things. And often we find ourselves in the scenario where we tell ourselves, "Oh, I'm not good enough, man. I've done all these things. I can't do this thing." I want to say to that man, that father, like, man up, man.
Yes.
Like, fail,
But try again.
but try again.
Retry.
Fail and try again. Like, don't abandon your son, your daughter, your
Yes.
family. Like, do it again, man. And then I want to say to a father who has successfully run their household, you are the Aaron there's an Aaron in the statement. You need to come alongside a Moses, a man who is having a difficult time running his household, or a difficult time being a father because of the issues that he has. You can show and come alongside him and be of support to him. And I think that partnership will see many nations, many societies come out of what we are challenged right now. So the drugs or the alcohol, the rape, and all these other things that we are faced with as a society, I believe if the real men would stand up, and if the Moseses and the Aarons and the fathers of our nation would partner together and take hold of this ails that we are faced with, we can see a nation being set free.
So guys, as you heard Leston said, can the real man please stand up? If you see your neighbor struggling, help him, man, so that we can all make a change together. I think that's all we have today in studio.
I think so. If you have an interesting story to share with us, join our Facebook page at The Plain Talks. Our contact details will be provided at the end of the show. So that's all from me, Jade September.
And me, Nikita Aritza.
Don't forget to like our page from us in studio. Step out!